Welcome to the Cat Mac Talk Show, where women turn their stories into visibility, authority, and success. Hey there, I'm Cat Mac, and each week we share real conversations that will inspire you to rise. Be seen and create impact. Why? Because you are saying yes to yourself and your story matters. Welcome to another episode of the show. Today's guest doesn't just talk about transformation. She actually lived it. Her story is very, very interesting. In 1 week, her life changed forever. There was things that happen in her world. As we already know, things always happen, but it's how you live it, how you breathe it, and how you transform from it. Hey there, I'm Cat Mac, and I am the host of the Cat Mac Talk Show, which is what I just said. It is my honor to have Michelle Ariana with me that's going to share her voice, because her voice builds legacies. You are the CEO of Empower Your Life. You're an NLP practitioner. You're also a love coach, which, you know what? I should talk about self-love and the love coach stuff. However, before we do that, I'd like to know a little bit about that moment in your life which transformed your world, knocked you for dead per se, and transformed you and transformed your life to what you're living right now. Because I know you empower women around the world to be the better version of themselves. So Michelle, over to you.
Thank you, Kat. Oh, I feel so honored to be part of your show. I know you interview some incredible leaders and voices out there, so I'm truly honored. Thank you. Man, yeah, so just kind of dropping into the moment when everything shifted, it truly was an ego death. And for anyone watching, if you've ever gone through a dark night of the soul or the death of your ego, like some part of you shattered, that was definitely a moment for me. It was back in 2021. My partner of 6 years and I suddenly uncoupled. And then within a week, my father fell ill and went on a healing journey that he wound up passing a few weeks later. And then I wound up moving cities to take over my dad's legacy, execute on the trust, and take care of my family. So all within 1 week, it was the dissolving of a relationship, the death of my father, and the move to a new city, to Arizona. And it's amazing. The human spirit's amazing. Like what people are able to endure or survive through things. Like we truly are more resilient than we think. And I think I learned at that time, while the whole experience was a complete blessing. I know it sounds crazy to say that, but in looking back, that I had to heal and grieve, and I gave myself space to do that. I had the honor to take over and execute my dad's trust, but I also got to really turn inward and look at where I might have needed to give myself more love. I paused my business for about 1.5 years. So I'm passionate about helping women build brands. That's my digital marketing side, because I didn't have things established. And by the grace of God, I was taken care of in ways that I couldn't have seen possible. But it is important to have the businesses set up for us where we can create income coming in. But it was a whole re-identification. It was an ego death to an identity shift.
What shifted for you?
That time brought me closer to the divine. It really taught me trust, surrender, resiliency. It taught me that it's important that we need to feel our emotions, feel it to heal it, feel it to free it. We cannot repress. Usually when you have an ego death, there's been something that's been repressed or unexpressed for far too long. And Kat, I'm sure you've experienced that in your life, and I'm sure the listeners could relate, that when that moment happens, it brings things to the surface for you to just feel it to heal it. But on the other side of it, frees up a lot of energy. It allows you to decide and declare, okay, who are you now, without all the weight and the attachments and the old identities that you had. In 1 week, 2 men I loved were gone. That's how it was like. So for me, the identity around who am I in this world without perceivably, my father physically in form, and then also the relationship that I had identified with.
So I love that you call it the ego death. So I'd love you to expand on that.
Yeah. So the ego is our personalities. It's our thoughts, our words, our habits. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, our personalities create our personal realities. If you want something different in your personal reality, you got to be willing to change your personality, i.e. your thoughts, words, habits, i.e. your ego or the character you think you're playing, right? Because we each have, our ego is a culmination of different identities. Maybe you're a mom or a sister or a CEO or a girlfriend or a dancer or Like we have all these identities. Some of them serve us, some of them don't serve us, right? The ego, the way I like to summarize it is you need your ego to experience this reality, but the ego has this perception of separation, that you are separate from others. And that's good in a sense. It allows you to have individuation, your individuality. But when you don't realize that at the greater spectrum, we're all one, we're all connected, that separation can cause distortions. And so what happens in ego death is where there's something in your life that is not your spiritual truth, your soul's truth. And so life has to reorganize to get you into harmony, to become congruent. Now, I will say this happens sometimes when you decide you want something new in your life, where you set a goal or you're called to something greater. A lot of times these ego deaths happen when you're wanting to go to your next level. And I coach women on identity transformation, rapid identity transformation, but done in a gentle, feminine way. So when that happens, usually you say you want something or you're envisioning or working towards, well, your life will reorganize itself. The ego, the old concept, self-concept of self will fall away, and the new, more authentic version of you gets to come forward. Does that make sense?
It does. And you talk a lot about, because I follow your socials and I love what you do. And I'd love you to talk about your self-love coach in a second. However, for women listening out there and they're lost within their identity and they're playing small, because I know you're out there to share women's voices as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing small. What is one thing that she needs to do? And we can talk about ego, because is ego a dirty word? I don't know.
It's not bad. No, the ego's not bad at all. There's no part of us that's bad, but
no.
Go ahead.
So what would be one thing she needs to do that you help with that a woman can shift? Because if she's doing all the right things, she's doing all the stuff, but she's still feeling like she's not fully out there, what is one thing that you can suggest that would help her?
I love your question. So you said this a lot. She's doing all the things. Feminine energy was something I talk on Teach About, is about being. And if you want rapid identity transformation, it's about practicing being what it is that she desires. If it's the lover, if it's the beloved, what would it feel like if she already had that? Now, I know someone might say, well, Michelle, that's fake it till you make it. No, if you can imagine it, your imagination is one of your higher faculties in your mind that is your creative life force. And the brain, scientifically and neurologically, doesn't know the difference between what you imagine and what you experience in real life. So if a woman is feeling like she's doing, number one, that's in the masculine frame, which is not bad. We have masculine, feminine energies. But my invitation would be, how can you start being? Allow yourself to be. My computer's kind of glitching. Are you seeing me?
It must be your dad.
I know.
That is, oh my God, I love that.
My light's like flickering. It's like the energy is like, woo.
And it is, we're headed towards a full moon. Wow, that is cool.
It's glitching. It's
That's
so funny.
Okay. Is
that bad?
You still look amazing. It's fine. So this is, the masculine versus, and we're just changing the way, we're totally changing the whole conversation now, which is cool. The masculine versus feminine energy, because for a long time, and I've talked about this before, I used to work and run with masculine, and I didn't know it because I only did what I saw from my parents. And they were, especially my mother, and they were just doers and they would just do. And I just felt suffocated. And I was 25 and somebody said to me, Kat, you are way too pretty to be in this industry. And that just knocked me. I'm like, what do you mean? It's got nothing to do with what I look like. And I'm about to do a series on this. It's got nothing to do with what I look like. It's got nothing to do with, who we are, put us in a box. It's who you are as a person, how you perform, being a good human. But I didn't have the mental capacity and maturity at that age because I rapidly went into retail ops very quickly and grew very quickly. And I didn't know. And I thought, what is he talking about? What? Don't tell me I'm going to leave this and not be the feminine woman as opposed to, and I just flipped overnight and I was the smiling assassin. And that wasn't a good thing. And it took me a long time for me to realize that I've been playing with the wrong energy. So therefore I was getting not the results
It was out
And
of
I need,
balance. Well, and the
yeah,
funny thing is in love and relationships, a lot of women
my relationships sucked.
Well, I work with a lot of high performing, ambitious, soul led women who are powerhouses. They say they want the beloved, the man of their dreams. And really, as CEOs, we want to feel like the masculine has us. As big of energy as we are extra. We have big energy. That's the nature of the feminine in general. And a lot of women deeply desire the masculine counterpart, the frame, to be able to hold the feminine. But the thing that most women don't realize, and this is what I help women in, I have a brand called Divine Femme, and actually a community is launching soon. So I'm going to have a wait list up pretty soon. But in the Divine Femme community, it helps women come back to their feminine energy because they say they want a masculine man, but if they're in their masculine, that polarity is not a vibrational match. So the challenge is when women are in boss babe energy, which is nothing wrong with being a boss, being a badass, but then it's also being a goddess. And one of my mentors talks about, so it's like you get to own the different energies, but use them as tools, not your main identity. Usually women throw up the masculine frame because we didn't feel safe when we were younger, or we felt like our caretakers maybe didn't have us the way we needed it, or people in our environment so had to do it all. We put the weight on our shoulders, and then we became the saviors of the, well, if you want something done right, do it yourself. I can't, it's a lack of safety and trust. That's where it is. So the challenge is women say they want a masculine man, but they're not trained in their feminine. And so they attract men in their feminine, and then they get pissed off.
Yes,
And
that was
then
me.
it's like, we've all done it. We've totally all done it. And it's not to say that the man is feminine. Every human has masculine and feminine energies, not gender types.
Yeah. No, we're not talking about
Right?
that.
It's just the
energy,
expression.
yeah.
The expression of the masculine energy is doing. It's taking charge. It's pursuing. Think of the sun or yang energy. It's extrovert energy. The feminine is receiving, allowing. The masculine is giving, putting out. The feminine's receiving, allowing. The moon, yin energy, receptivity, rest, more chaos energy of creativity and flow. The masculine is system, structure. We have both. We need both, especially as business owners. It's like, you want to create a business, you need to put the masculine systems and structure in place, but allow for the feminine receiving of wealth, money, receiving of ideas, right? So when it comes to love, though, man, it's amazing how much energetics is at play. And that's why I teach women, how, especially ambitious, driven women, how to come back to their feminine energy so that they can attract and align with the masculine they truly desire.
So I would love you to share one tip, because I know women out there, there's so many powerhouses out there that are like, man, she's talking to me. She is so talking to me. And I know, because I speak to women every single day, whether it's online or whether they are running bricks and mortar businesses, and they get stuck, exactly what you said, Michelle. They get stuck in the doing. And they find a partner that want to mimic them, but they really don't. Because I know I was a product of that product, but I didn't know how to deal with the person that is my mirror image as a partner. So, because you said you need to get into your feminine flow, what do you teach? What would be one thing that you can go, you know what, you can do this today, and it's going to make your life a lot easier, as opposed to going from a relationship to relationship that's exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
And you think it's you in the end. It is, but it's not.
It's always you, and it's not a fault thing. It's not a blame thing. It's just a matter of like, here's the deal. What happened to us growing up or in the past? A lot of women have experienced traumas or things that have caused us to close up. And a trauma is a perceived loss of control in an event. And then when this was defined to me recently, I was like, wow, because trauma could be something not crazy horrific, but like an interaction with something where you perceivably lost control. But it's not our fault.
Job, relationship, it could be anything. Yeah.
It's not our fault, but it is our responsibility once we become aware to make the changes. If you want things in your life to change, you got to be willing to shift and change things in your life. And so part of what I work with women on, one of my programs is called, I have a program called Bringing Sexy Back, and it's an embodiment.
Okay. Oh my God. I want you to talk about that.
Yeah. So it's bringing sexy back. A part of that program is called the 6 days to feeling sexy. It's a 6-day upgrade. So any woman that wants to really embody her feminine energy and do it in a rapid time frame, 6 days, I have a digital course that helps women do that. So one of the techniques in that is there's a framework to it. It's called the talk, the walk, the move, and the groove. But out of all of that, the groove is a feminine practice which is related to dancing. If you want to elevate your feminine energy immediately, get in your body, because the feminine is about being, movement, embodiment. The masculine is thinking, cerebral. So get out of our head, take the elevator down to our heart, put on a song that you absolutely love that lights you up, and start dancing to it. I go dancing, as you saw, Kat. I go dancing maybe about once a week, country swing dancing, and it allows me to be in my feminine. I'm around beautiful masculine souls who are, a lot of them are my friends, and I get to just move my body and be in my feminine. So my tip for anyone watching is, if you want to have an instant feminine activation, put on a song that you love that lights you up. And as a professional cheerleader, former NFL cheerleader, this is where I got this from. That's where I created the 6 days to feeling sexy and bringing sexy back framework, was because I was in my masculine all the way up until I made it to the NFL. In fact, it was my goal to become an NFL cheerleader, to just have fun. Because all my life I was so in my head. I was sick for most of my 20s, in and out of hospitals. That was another dark night of the soul. But the thing that saved me was dance. And so if a woman is willing to put on some music, get into her body, put on some clothes that make her feel sensual, and just be in her body, that is the fastest way you can create a feminine upgrade like that.
I think it took me till I was 40 for me to start to, I knew I was sexy and I get it. However, I still hadn't left here.
Yeah. Well, we were trained, because that's where the brain is always trying to keep you safe. The brain in your subconscious mind is not trying to help you hit your goals and dreams. You can train it to help you, but it's only going to keep you safe, which is, what have we survived? Whatever we've survived, that feels safe. So let's keep running that pattern. Yeah. So a lot of women like us will stay in our masculine because that feels safe, because that's how we survived. The thing is, that's not the real truth. That's your truth or someone's truth. But the real truth is, when we tap into our feminine energetic, that's our power. That's our magic. That is how we can manifest and magnetize the most epic stuff. As you saw when I posted that video about how my girlfriend started dancing and manifested a date 24 hours later.
That is so cool. And you talked about, look, it's not hoo-hoo wah-wah. It happened.
I have so many stories. I got to start a podcast just on my source stories, like divine God spark moments, and like all the magical manifestations that come just by allowing yourself to work with God, the divine, your higher self, whatever you resonate with, to like let that essence flow through, and it comes through the feminine energy.
It does. And I think I'm going to say I love dancing. And if I don't dance, I think I would suffocate. And people ask, how are you fit? And I'm like, well, I don't actually like the gym, but I dance 10 to 15 minutes a day.
That's great.
I put the music on. And, one tip that you can give, because women will be looking at this and going, I really don't want to dance, but to feel stupid doing it.
Go walk. If someone doesn't want to dance or move their body, go for a walk, and just, gratitude, appreciation is a very high frequency. And when I say frequency, it's a feeling state. And everything in this world, this reality, is energy, and we are energy, and we create energy through our thoughts, our words, our feelings. So if a woman just goes for a walk and goes out in nature and just goes on a gratitude or appreciation rampage. Wow, I'm so thankful for this. I really appreciate this. I feel my body. I'm so grateful. Like, even that is a beautiful feminine expression.
It is. Totally.
Another thing, if she wants, wearing clothes that help her feel like sexy and flirty in her body. But if you put a focus on your hips, so like tie a belt or a sash and walk around the house, just like purposely swaying, that allows you to come back.
I'm swaying, and you're talking about,
it come back to your womb space, because the womb, the sacred portal of life, is where all life flows through. And so when we put attention, where focus goes, energy flows. So when you're putting focus on that area, that's going to allow you to expand. If you put focus on what you appreciate, or your heart with love, like I set the intention before I go to bed at night. I do gratitude, and then I say, I'm waking up in love. Thank you. because your intention is powerful. It'll steer your mind.
I am waking up in love. I am waking up in love. And you know, before we got on the podcast this morning, I'm like, okay, because I've been filming all morning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to change the color that I'm wearing. Yeah. So, and because it's all about what the color I wear is how I feel. And I thought, you know what? I put blue on. I don't do red. I love yellow. You can't half tell. And it makes me feel good. It lights me up. But green does something to my body and just powers me up. So again, you're right. It's those little things. And people forget that the smallest thing can make the biggest difference, because you have just said, move your body, put a belt on, get your sexy back. You're going to be okay. I love that you love love, and I love that you teach love. In closing, I have one last question. If you were to look in the mirror of your younger self, what would you say to her? She could be 10, she could be 20. You know, that little girl, the inner child that we look at and go, she's sitting right here. She's probably there somewhere. What would you say to her, knowing what you've gone through, experience, where you are and where you're headed?
Well, first comes to mind is, baby girl, you are enough. You are pure magic. And even though the world might diminish that at times, or it feels that way, there's a truth about you and a power about you that you will come to find out in due time. But just know, whatever you set your heart and mind to, just be it, because it's already yours. So that's what I would say.
Okay, you just said the power word and I goosebumpled. You said be it. You just said be it.
Yeah.
Michelle, thank you so much for joining me. You are such an inspiration. Please go out and follow her socials. You're so much fun and you bring joy to the world. So Thank you so much. Have an awesome morning, awesome afternoon. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's just go make better and bigger things for the world, because you know what? You really don't know what tomorrow brings.
I love that. Thank you, Kat. Bye.